Hi guys, welcome to another video. As you can see by the title, this is my 5-star predictions, which I am putting up because I'm hoping to be able to look back at it at the end of the year to find out whether I was right or not. I have a massive TBR list, but I thought I'd go through them and I'd be really ruthless with my list and go with my gut instinct. So out of a massive list, I have narrowed it down to 6 in my 5-star predictions. So without further ado, let's crack on. So the first of the list is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Now in this one we follow 2 college students who believe that they have found a way to make themselves superhuman or give themselves superhuman abilities. As we follow through, we later see that they are becoming enemies rather than best friends. There's about as much as I know about this, other than the fact that I've heard the duology, which is Vicious and Vengeful. I've heard it referred to as the villain duology. I don't know if that's the actual name of the duology, but I think the reason I was so drawn to this and I, in my gut instinct, feel like this is going to be a 5-star prediction is because people referring to it as the villain duology makes it sound a lot darker. And I really enjoy the darker side of V.E. Schwab's writing. When I read Darker Shade of Magic, the first one sort of seemed a little bit, not flowery, but not edgy. Whereas when I read City of Ghosts and Tunnel of Bones, there was a bit of grit to it, even though it was a middle grade. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what she does with this. My second book on the list is Capturing the Devil by Kerri Maniscalco. I'm really sorry if I've said that wrong. However, this is a very chunky book. It is the final in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I have yet to read Escaping from Houdini. However, I feel in my bones that this is going to be a 5-star read for me. I had the Stalking Jack the Ripper series recommended to me throughout the year last year, and I wasn't so keen on Stalking Jack the Ripper, but I continued for the Hunting Prince Dracula, which I really loved. It was just fantastic for me. In the first Stalking Jack the Ripper, I really didn't gel with Audrey Rose and Thomas Creswell, and especially Thomas Creswell, because I hated him. However, in Hunting Prince Dracula, there was a love that developed for Thomas Creswell, and I've heard many things. I have sort of heard something that happens in Capturing the Devil, which just makes me want to read it all the more rather than spoiling it for me. So this is definitely one that I think is going to be a 5-star read. So in this we're following Audrey Rose and Thomas Creswell again, but they are in America this time, and they are following the trail of the White City Devil. So definitely going to be a 5-star read, I think. My third prediction is Aurora Rising by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Now this one I don't know much about, other than the fact that Tyler Jones, I think, wakes up late, and when he hoped to have the best squad from the academy, he's actually left with the dregs that nobody else wants. And this crew ends up saving Aurora from space, and she is in a deep sleep for 2 centuries. However, she has set something off, and they now have to save the universe. They could be the only people that can save the universe. That's about as much as I know. Of course, things are bound to go a lot deeper. I just think I'm going to love it. I can't put my finger on what it is. I love Jay Kristoff, and I think it's going to shine through everything else. I'm also really looking forward to Aurora Burning, so I want to get this read before Aurora Burning comes out. So yeah, third 5-star prediction. My fourth 5-star prediction is God's Grave by, once again, Jay Kristoff. So again we are following Mia, who is a young assassin out to get revenge for the deaths of her family. In this one she sells herself as a slave and ends up having to fight in an arena, so there's a lot of gladiator themes going on. She unveils secrets and conspiracies and then has to decide whether she still wants to get revenge or whether she wants to stay loyal to the friends that she has made within the arena. I read Nevernight last year and thoroughly enjoyed it. I also listened alongside with the audiobook, and I think I'll be doing that again with Godsgrave because the narrator for Nevernight is the same narrator for Godsgrave on script, and it is just really thrilling to listen to, especially with the narrator doing different voices all on his own. Number 5 is The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. I don't have a lot to say about this other than the fact that it is vampires in New Orleans set in 1872. For me, this brings out all sorts of Interview with the Vampire feelings, and Interview with the Vampire, if you don't know, is probably one of my all-time favourite books. So I definitely am after something with that sort of feeling again, and it's been a very long time since we've had a decent vampire book. And finally we have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Again, I wasn't 100% sure whether I would find this interesting enough. I sort of thought that Blake Crouch was more sci-fi based than anything else. However, reading the synopsis of this, I get a different feel for it. So Jason Desson is abducted, and when he wakes up there's a load of people around him with hazmat suits on, and his life isn't actually the life that he was living before. So his wife is no longer his wife, his son has never been born, and rather than a college professor, he's actually quite an esteemed genius who is fully celebrated, and he's basically living a completely different life. I really feel like this is going to be, out of all 6, probably the highest 5-star rating, because I really like the idea that they're trying to show him a different side of life, and whether he's really happy with the life that he had, whether he's taking the life that he had for granted, and whether this new life is what he wanted, just to see how things could have been or should have been, depending on how you look at things. So there you have it. Those are my 6 5-star predictions for this year. There probably were more, as I said, but I wanted to cut it down and I wanted to be really ruthless with the amount of 5 stars I've been giving out. I, however, do believe that I have already given out a 5 stars this year, and I was quite surprised myself that I did. However, that would go to The Places I've Cried in Public by Holly Bourne. I really enjoyed this book, and I enjoyed the real life issues being attached to it. I enjoyed seeing it from different points of view, and also seeing how things were dealt with afterwards. Although there was no consequences for Reese, which really irritated me, I realised that this is trying to stay true to real life, and the things that happen within this book, generally, unfortunately, there tends not to be any consequences, which, when I was talking to a few people, did point out the fact that that is true to real life. A lot of the time there is no consequences for the people who commit the crime, and the survivors are left to do just that, survive. So that was my first 5-star read for the year, even though it wasn't going to be predicted as a 5-star. I know that I did originally give it a 4-star, but I will be bumping that up on Goodreads today, because having gone through all my 5-star predictions, I then realised that this should have been on my list of first 5-star read. So I'm hoping that by the end of this year I can look back on this and check in with you again to decide whether everything I said was true. So, have you got any 5-star predictions for this year? Have you already read a book that you've given 5 stars? Are you getting more vigilant with your 5-star ratings? Let me know in the comments below, and if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to press the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already done so. That's all for this video, but I will be sure to check in with you very soon. Bye!